Okay, looks like I'm live. Hello and greetings to you, viewer from across the tubes. I guess I'm gonna try and forge ahead with day three since I finally figured out day two. Uh, so I guess I'll just jump into it. I actually, at the end of my previous stream, already read through the problem and downloaded the puzzle input. But just to kind of recap, basically, actually, I guess I'll get into the code. If I can remember how my directories are structured here. And over in my companion terminal, I will do the same thing. Actually, here I want to stay in the top level here. I wonder why that's rebuilding. What branch am I in? I'm confused why that's rebuilding and also why that's taking so long to rebuild, but everything on my computer seems to be taking forever these days. But as I was saying, is I downloaded the input at the end of the previous stream. I feel like this is not off to a great start already, but so we basically have all this gobbledygook, and from this we're supposed to parse out instances of mul, open parentheses up to 3 digits, comma, again between 1 and 3 digits, close parentheses. And then for those numbers that we parse, we're supposed to multiply them together and add everything together. So that is part one of the input, and I guess that's what we have to do. So in my side browser here, I guess I'll dump that in. Now, I've kind of been poking around in other people's streams, though I have not enough to actually look at how they're solving this. But most people, it seems like, are using regexes to solve this problem, which I'm not usually a big regex guy, but at this point, considering all the trials and tribulations I had in day two, I think I may just resort to regexes for this. Although one stream I was in said regexes actually made the problem harder. So who knows? Which, why make life easier for ourselves, right? But so what that actually means, though, is I'm going to need to figure out how to. Forgot to update all my plugins again. I'm going to have to figure out how to bring a package in. How many levels deep am I? Okay, I just need to figure out how to spell the cargo thing. So I'm going to have to figure out how to bring dependencies in. And there seems to be, I guess regexes are not part of the standard library, but I think this might be like an official Rust developed crate, I guess they call them, not packages. So let's see if this tells us how we pull this in. Okay, first, oh, can I just do that through the command line? So let's see what happens if I do that. Oops. What did I change? I should not have changed anything. Okay. Except I'm probably going to have to do this, the top level directory. Thankfully, that did not pull down a ton of other dependencies. I was worried about that. Okay. So I guess I'll just do this. I mean, one thing I was wondering about is if I could just do something like this, or even something like, because I guess one of the features here is, right, it'll lock your package to whatever version you specify, or actually this won't, the cargo lock does. But I don't really care what the specific version is as long as the API doesn't break. But anyway, I guess we won't worry about that at the moment. So now I need to figure out I guess actually the first thing I need to do, or the second thing, since I've already done something, is get a module fired up here for day 3. Oops. And I guess I know I'm going to end up with that anyway, so we'll take these asserts out because we have no idea. Of course, this is going to yell at me for not using if I don't use it, I think the compiler is going to yell at me for not using that, so we'll just do that for now. So now we need to do day 3, except we're actually doing a programming file here, so and we're taking what, a string slice, I think. Oh yeah, and I need to specify my return type. And so I guess we'll grab this example. Where is it? Here. So I guess we want oh, right. So I need to bring in so we're going to run with the input and so it's going to be 161. And I guess Russ says do that if you want to ignore that. So maybe I'll just do that for now. So I think after all that, it's like I actually wrote all my changes. Actually, this is going to yell at me because I'm not returning anything. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot to do is I need to okay. Oh, it's not a function. You're right, it's not a function. All right, so we have a failed test. So now I guess I need to figure out how to use this regex crate. Hopefully this usage section will tell me. But for sanity's sake, let's just pop this over to the bigger window here. So we need to unwrap that. I guess compilation could fail. So let's see here. Path. So I think that, actually not sure. So that's the beginning of the line. So we're capturing everything up to, but not including that. Then we have that. Then we're capturing, I guess, the line number, another colon, and then just everything to the end of the line. So we actually need to extract that, okay? Um, so that actually doesn't seem too bad. That seems like a reasonable API to me. So I guess we need to, excuse me, I guess we need to use that. So actually, what's the R mean? Is that just like a raw specifier? So I don't have to escape all my slashes and everything? I wonder if that's a Rust thing. Well, actually, I don't know who this person is, but oh, this is not what I'm seeing though. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. So I don't know. I guess you can set like a delimiter by fewer than, oh, other than carriage return. All right. Okay, that makes sense. So I guess I don't care about that because we're not going to have any pounds in here. So now I think I'm going to have to escape that, right? And we want between 1 and 3 digits, which I think is like that. And actually, we want to capture that. And then the same thing. And a close. And so what is that? Unwrap. So then I guess we want this. So I assume this first one returns me. Oh, I would not have expected that to look like that. That's just making me think because I was having issues in the previous day about how to like unpack an array. Um, but I was using parentheses here, and maybe if I use brackets, that does allow me. So we'll do. I don't know. Actually, I've forgot to close something here. Okay, I'm not going to do all this nesting stuff, although it makes it a little bit nasty to. So I think that's good. So that's going to be kind of constant. So we want so what are the chances that works? Uh, that's right. I want to. I need to actually parse those into. So I guess what I wanted to actually do is, and actually I have no idea if this probably needs to be i's because I have no idea if we have any. I guess we can't have any negative numbers, right? The input told us that. So and I need to unwrap that. Yeah. Okay, I guess we're just getting the right, we're not getting these individual things passed to us. So I guess I need to I suppose it's more idiomatic to do that as opposed to do what I was doing before where I like specified the template parameter. Okay, I'm not at all confident this will work, but I guess we can do that. Hey, what do you know? I got a gold star. So now number two or part two is probably going to just completely invalidate. Um, actually, that took me relatively quickly. The 20 minutes of work I just did. But even though I've only been on for 20 minutes, I've spent most of the morning drinking coffee, and I'm going to have to actually go and get rid of some of that coffee now. So I am going to take, I guess, a 5 minute break, and yeah, and I'll be right back. Well, in about 5 minutes or less. Okay, I think it should be back now. So I shouldn't be too motivated here because in day two, the problem was not part one, it was part two. So part two, this will be like now only consider valid the inputs where any numbers in a mol are prime factors of the previous two inputs whose total comes out to a common minimum divisor of all the other inputs. And it's like, well, yeah, regex is probably not going to work in that situation. So as you scan through the corrupted memory, you notice that some of the conditional statements are also still intact. If you handle some of the uncorrupted conditional statements in the program, you might be able to get an even more accurate result. There are two new instructions you'll need to handle. Yeah, well, so now I see why people are saying regexes make this harder. The do instruction enables future mol instructions. The don't instruction disables future mol instructions. Only the most recent do or don't instruction applies. At the beginning of the program, mol instructions are enabled. For example, and is this, I assume this is the same input they gave me? It's not the same input. Okay, well, that's not a big deal. This corrupted memory is similar to the example from before, but this time the mol 5, these instructions are disabled. That's right, that's not valid. Because there's a don't instruction before them. The other mol instructions function normally, including the one at the end that gets re-enabled by a do. This time the sum is 48. Handle the new instructions. What do you get if you add up all the results of just the enabled multiplications? So I guess we'll copy that. In this case, I suppose. So I was kind of half right where I was like, whatever wrench they throw in here means regex expressions are probably not gonna be the answer. I'm sure there's some way to in this case, we're just gonna ignore that completely. Guess I need to specify my input here. Oh, right. I didn't get my input. I got my answer. Huh. Oh, I thought it was 42. No. And we want to... It's not a function. It's not a function. Okay, but now I need my... That's not sure what I did there. So now we should get fails. Day 3 tests part 2 failed. Okay. Um, I'm just trying to take a moment to think if there's a relatively straightforward way to do this with regexes. I don't think there is. So I guess we'll just parse these, and I won't focus on getting part 2 to pass at the moment. I think I'll just work on just getting part 1 to work while re-implementing this as like a basically a straight up parser. So I guess we've done this before. So just trying to think of how I want to do this. So I guess in this case, maybe I just want a loop. I guess if we get, actually, I suppose that could just be my loop. So if we get none back, we're done, right? So I think actually, if it doesn't, we just want to advance the iterator and continue. So now in this case, if let's do this. Let's do so let's pass in, and I suppose we want a mutable reference to that iter. Let's for now just print that out. So let's and I guess this is what a peekable cars, I think. Let's just see what that gets me. Not a value. Correct. So then we need to import that. I don't know, usually like in C, I put the standard stuff down below. Like probably doesn't matter in Rust, but and I think, or is this a string? I don't know. Oh, that's right. No implementation for. So this is one of these things I'm starting to think I don't really actually like about Rust is in some cases it tries to hide from you the fact that you're dealing with a reference slash pointer. Uh, so like for instance, if I do, you know, oops, and what are my options here? Oh, that's right. I'm in the regex crate. How do I get back to just the standard library? I don't really know how this documentation works yet. Okay, well, can I just do like standard stir or something? Yeah, so if I do this, I believe that will just work because it like auto dereferences, right? Oh, this won't even compile, right? Yeah, so in this case, I don't have to dereference anything because like it automatically does it. But here, like it's like, oh, you can't assign M to a reference. So all that was a long way to say that I'm beginning to find that somewhat annoying. All right. So actually, we don't even need to see what that does for us. Um, I guess I need to. I can't call these both C. So what do I want to do? Well, let's just do. So actually, I think I can guard this, right? Then I guess we really just want to advance the iterator. Otherwise, expected. I guess I just need to discard that, right? Because that's becoming the. Okay, so part two still failed. Oddly, part one is still passing. Oh, that's because I I still have the old code down there. Um, I suppose I'm going to have to initialize these. Because now what we want to do is we want to actually, just for consistency, and we're going to want to, I guess it's not really a string, but I don't think it matters in this case. I'm a little surprised I didn't print anything out. I feel like that should have printed something out. Maybe before I get too excited here. Oh, everything's lowercase. Okay. Actually, you know what I just realized I forgot to do? Is I forgot to put that in my mod as an assertion. Just to make sure I don't break anything too horribly. So What was actually part one? Multiplications. I think I like it better without the colon. Okay. Oops, and I wanted to run my tests. So unknown starter token. Oh, I am struggling to close my. All right, so yeah, now I need the. Let's. I think all I need is this. I guess we'll call that the result, which will be a mutable reference to a U32. Actually, we may. So here's the thing: if we don't see any digits, because white space and everything is not allowed, so we need to start off a digit. Um, and I had to screw around with this before. I have to make that mutable. It's going to be. I think I did something like that before. And actually, I wonder if I even need to initialize this. Let's just see what that does. Hey, Selvish. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but how are you doing? Me? No, actually, I'm not. I'm work. I'm C++. Yep. Why were you guessing? C sharp, I guess. Well, you get right. You get three strikes, right? So you used up one of them. Oh, this, yeah. Oh, hey, future. Yeah, I guess Rust. I guess the Rust formatter. If I was running Rust formatter in my code, it bumped these all up, right? Oh, it is missing. I don't know why this can't. I guess it needs to do it. I'm confused why I can't figure out the type of this, especially seeing as I have it right there. Oh, that's right. I need to. Yeah. Well, I didn't actually necessarily start doing that just because of C++. Although we have a our code base at work, we have a like a clang format that has to get run on everything. So when you check your code in, it's all the right format, and it does enforce this. But I was doing that beforehand. It was I don't know. This probably isn't very interesting, but there was I was watching some YouTube like talks on like structured programming and stuff, and there was kind of a it was a little bit of a throwaway moment where they're going over if you actually just take out all the logic and just look at the flow of the code on like ignoring all the logic, and if this is all just blocks of text, if you looked at how it was actually positioned on the page, there was this compelling argument to bump the braces down because even just looking at the code without knowing anything else about it, the braces sort of demarcated like blocks of logic. And because before I used to do that all the time, but I was convinced by that argument is the short of it. So that's why I do it that way. I feel like it's fairly common in C as well, although I know there are lots of strong opinions about how one C code or code in general should be formatted. What's list style other than just using parentheses, tons and tons and tons of parentheses? If I get my dig in on Lisp there. I haven't used Lisp since college. For some reason our college, the college I went to, which has been a few minutes now, that was one of the first languages they taught us. So oh, I actually do that. So I think you're saying like if I was going to break this down, you're talking more like that rather than like that. Yeah, so if I was going to do something like that, I'd probably do that because right in my like in this case, the parentheses is a substitute for the comma. Unless if the language allowed something like that, that might be compelling. But this is also what the point of that talk was: is bumping this down to the next line clearly separates sort of the body of the function from the header up here if you start getting into craziness like that. So that was kind of the gist of the talk I was looking at. Oh, is it really? Huh. Yeah, I did not know that. This is literally, well, this is day 3, so I've struggled through the first 2 days in Rust, but this is like the first time I've actually tried coding with Rust. I've gotten through like the first dozen chapters of the Rust book, but this is the first time I'm actually sitting down and trying to code anything relatively significant in the language. So I also learned, which you guys probably know this already, that Rust supports like nested block comments. Because I can see in C++, if you want to do something like this, you'd have to do like if 0. Because if you try to do this, this would end your comment block and you'd have this failing code. So in order to get around that, you have to use the preprocessor. So that's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. Yeah, I've been a little bit distracted. Let me go through my. Oh, is this because where's this on? Is this because I need to dereference it? Yeah, it's gonna want me to initialize that. So that's a little bit obnoxious, in my opinion. True. I guess you're right. 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 This is going to want me to do something like. So. Of course, that's going to break a bunch of things now. But it was yelling to me about. So the only. So if I do something like this, right? Because up here, like if I pass this in as like an output parameter, I can just kind of tie this all together as nicely one it's if statement. And at the end here, I've got my numbers, right? So, but if I'm instead returning none or an option, right? Like I can't just do this all in one if statement, right? I'm going to have to break that apart, right? I'm looking at your previous comment. Let result equals if 2 equals 2, because the thing is I actually need the number, right? Because I don't know, have you been working on Advent of Code at all? I didn't really. The problem statement here, this is Advent of Code 2024 day 3, is I'm parsing. Where's my sample input? Right. So I'm parsing through this input and I'm looking for these instances of mul, you know, number comma number, and assuming the whatever I'm looking at matches this format exactly, I need to multiply those two numbers together. And then for all the, that's actually part two, which changes the conditions. But for everything that matches this, I got to multiply them together and then add them all up. I should be try. Yeah, well, I guess that's where my C background is coming. I mean, I did for part one, right? I used this regex, so I actually have part one working. What I just showed using just using that. Um, I'm not sure where that's barking at me now. Somewhere else in my code, probably down here. Yeah, so part one is working, but then part two, well, the problem, which I'm on now, adds the stipulation that if you bump into a do or don't instruction, assuming implicitly that this input starts off with an implicit do. If it's a do, you consider the multiplications. If you don't, then you disregard them all. And so my little regex approach that I was using before, there doesn't seem to be an obvious way to account for that using regexes, so I was just going to start parsing the input directly. Okay. In Rust, I guess? You two seem to know quite a bit about Rust, so. Or somebody, I think somebody on Twitch is doing it in Bash, which I don't know why they would do that to themselves. So I guess what you're saying is I could almost make this like that maybe. The only question is, how do I know what I got back? I suppose I haven't used this regex library before. Because right, if I got this right, this will either match on mul some number, or it'll match on do, or it'll match on don't. So as I iterate through it, I can see. Oh, right. I can see if I got back a do, don't, or a mul, right? So I guess I need to see what this extract does. Okay, I'm gonna have to go over to. Oh yeah, yeah. He seemed to be saying something down here. So we get our regex. Can also iterate over captures. So let's see. Oh, that's giving a name to the capture. Let me struggle through this for a little bit longer. I had someone in the other night that posted their solution to day two. Day two just really, well, at least part two of day two kicked my ass pretty fiercely. It took me like 3 days to get that. And I didn't look at their answer until after I finally got it right, but some of those suggestions helped. And I finally was able to get it done just through some of their suggestions. So maybe I could do this. This seems reasonable. So I guess I want to name My captures, maybe? Is that how they did it? Uh, Actually, let's call these on and off. And I need, that should be a question mark. Oh my gosh. So, but in this case, I guess I want to, because the capture may not be present, so I guess I want to test that. So, what am I doing here? Let's just leave that there for now. But of course, I'm going to have nested captures here, right? So what if a capture has a capture? Making a calculator in all languages. Well, I don't know how much longer. Actually, what time is it? Because I actually have things to do later today. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be streaming. Um, but a calculator in all languages, like you're coding a calculator in every language, programming language. That's a neat project. Okay, huh? What languages have you done it in already? Does anybody talk about? I think that ignores that capture. Oh wow. Shard? I didn't even know some of those languages I haven't even heard of. Well, I guess shard or grain. Awk, that's interesting. I didn't actually think Awk was like a full-fledged um maybe it isn't, but I thought that was more of like a command line sort of text processing program, but I don't know much about it. Maybe I'm thinking of said. Uh wait, captures. Oh, huh. I did not know that about awk, although it's I haven't why would I? Haven't used it. So this confuses me because where's toady coming from? I guess that's actually searching the captures for the string toady. Or no, that's the input text. All right. So zero is the entire match. So I guess it was also, oh, the T was captured under first. Oh, nice. You're writing your own language, huh? That's I know that'd be cool to do, but it's a question of finding the time to do something like that. I guess depending on how complicated the language is, but uh, I have gone through the crafting interpreters book, which is a lot of fun. Um, that's as far as I've played around with something like that. So I guess that would correspond to capture one. That's capture two, and that's capture three. So I guess so what was I saying before? Captures iter. Which returns yet another type. This iterator captures values. Okay. So that means what shard is like a compiled language. If you're writing an assembler, you're actually like compiling it to assembly. So now this, I think, was saying, oh, okay, all right. Well, let's just try something here and see if it. I assume I'm going to have to do something like that. I'm not expecting that to do anything reasonable. So part one failed. Here we panicked. That makes sense. That's the name, isn't it? Actually, I guess in this case, we could just inline that. Oh, we get another match back. Uh, I guess we can iterate this. Yeah. It's not an iterator. Represents. So what did I say? This gives us back a match. I guess we're supposed to print this out as a string. Oh, Okay, so that still doesn't tell me how to get access to subcaptures. But what? Maybe they just come back. This is cap shores, right? What to say? Captures returns a capture match. So that does return an iterator of the captures. Oh, we can iter. Oh. So what does that return? That also returns a match, I think. I guess I might need to do that as a reference. Nope. So subcaptures, what did I say? An iterator over all groups in a capture. So does that mean I'm supposed to iterate over those? Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay. So what can I do with that? So I forgot what I had her capture. And I guess that's going to be a U32. And I suppose if that's the case, we could. I guess I need to unwrap that, huh? Well, all right. So next returns an option. So can't we just unwrap an option? So we have an option of an option? So what did we say here? We have a capture. I thought I did to get to the subcaptures. But so what am I looking at? I'm looking at captures, I think, right? So captures iter returns, I think I decided, a capture matches. So and so each one, right, this is itself an iterator, so it returns a captures, I assume. So yeah, so this iter gives back the subcapture matches, but maybe there's a way to get at those directly. So subcapture matches. Oh, okay. It does return a. It does return an option of an option. So I guess I gotta unwrap. Oops. Then that gives me a match pack. All right. And I suppose I need to add string that. Take two. And you're talking about this iterator here. What's the take do? That must be. I haven't seen the take. Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to figure out where in my documentation. It's an iterator that yields the first n elements or fewer. Oh, hey, Steve. Okay. Well, I suppose that's fine because since I'm using a regex, I should only have two there anyway. So you're saying take two. But I think I want to then parse that. Let me just see what, because I'm getting a little bit. Oh, I'm getting a little bit thrown off by the amount of nesting that's going on here. But I so we're getting a map back. That's right. We need to collect the map. Uh, well, at work I use C++. So C, C++. I also know Python and PHP. Uh, but I haven't used PHP in a while. It was kind of my first job, and then I just use Python occasionally. Um, so I need to get to the numbers. I need to get to the string numbers. So where's my sample input? Right, I need to pull these numbers out and then actually parse them into um, actual numbers, so I can multiply them together. So I've got to unwrap it. It looks like I need to unwrap it twice, or I guess once, because since I'm iterating, right? Because I was calling next, this returns an optional, but I guess if I'm iterating, I'm only going to get the sums passed in. So I've got to unwrap it once. So at that point, right? So after I unwrap it, it should be a match. And I guess this is going to be, I can't call that match. So that's going to be, so now it's a string. And now I need to, I suppose that's going to bark at me for being a keyword. So string, I think I can do that. And now I can collect those. No, I was going to call that match. And it's going to yell at me for being a keyword. That's why I stopped myself there. And I have a, can I not map a map? Oh, doi. Oh, we panicked. All right. That's on 47. Oh, so what? I've totally lost the bubble now. So capture name returns what? Name returns a match. So we've captured that match. What does this implement? I thought there was a way to get captures from a match. Yeah, but how do I get those out? I don't see. I don't see a method here to get them out, unless I'm just not seeing it. So right, this small is another match. So I don't want the documentation for that. I want to know how to get. I'm confused. How did I? I guess I delete. Oh wait, no, I deleted that code. Oh, no, I do want. I guess I'm not actually using this match. I'm only using that match to determine if this was in there. So from a capturer, all right. So iter should give me the subcapture matches. So iter here. I'm not seeing it. next. So that gives me an option. So that should get right. This unwrap should give me back a match. I think. Where's next? So where was this? But we were panicking, I thought. Well, let's find out. That's not what I expected. So I guess it's capturing the whole thing itself, which we want to filter. Actually, I guess we probably want to. So this feels a little bit janky to me, but okay. So and you said product, right? I guess I still need the type there. We panicked again. Where did we panic? On 166? That doesn't even seem to be in my code. Well, what happens if we just collect this? Oh, that's right. Not sure why that was panicking. We're still panicking. Oh, we called unwrap on a none value. What, are we getting a none here? Uh, let, let's just comment this out. I guess we probably need to return that. I don't actually. I don't. I don't have a Discord. I tried to sign up a long time ago, and it thought I was a bot for some reason. Oh, I see here. Right, we need to return something. Of course, that's going to cause that to break. Well, I guess we could just unwrap it and keep on panicking. And I suppose at this point, I should probably. I haven't been in IRC in ages. Time is it? I do need to watch my time. Yeah, so it's handing us a none. Which I'm confused by. Is this going to yell at me now for using it? I do have an IRC account somewhere, but I'm trying to remember. Was it like Freenode or something? Would something happen with Freenode, and so everybody moved away from that? That's the last time I was on IRC, so it's been a couple minutes. So I'm not sure why we're getting a none. Because isn't the whole point that we're only getting some values passed into us? I'm confused by that. But that kind of means, or is that because we're getting nuns for these other matches? This is making me think I should just go back to straight up parsing the input. But yeah, so I may be on IRC. I'm not sure if my account migrated. I don't even know what it is. It's been so long since I've been on IRC. So I think I'll go until 2 o'clock my time. But I'm going to try and go back to my non. Oh, that's right. Output parameters are considered a bad thing. Yeah, I'm not an X either. I don't know. I guess even though I'm a coder, I kind of stay away from the social media and everything. Um, which I guess isn't the same thing as like IRC and Discord. But yeah, I was trying to join some of these Discord on it was on Twitch a while ago, and my email server maybe it's because so my email service allows me to just kind of randomly create an email that forwards to my account. So that way, if I'm signing up for services or giving people emails for stuff, I can just give them an alias, and if they start spamming me or whatever, or they lose it, it's not a big deal because it's specific. So maybe it's because I used um, this thing, and it just gives you like foo.bar 26 at the domain. So I used that for my sign up thing, and then it sent me the email to like validate it was a real email. So then I clicked on it, and I had to I got the what do you call it? Where you have to like click on everything that's a lion. So I did that and hit submit. It's like, sorry, you're a bot. We've disabled your account. So I'm like, okay. I thought this is the whole point of the. I'm totally blanking on what where you got to click on all the right pictures. I'm like, I thought that was the whole point of that thing to prove I wasn't a bot. But so that was I got kind of frustrated with that, and that's the last time I dealt with Discord. So that's as far as I got with that scenario. Um, yeah, but I don't know. I don't usually stream, so at work, right? Most of my interactions are at work, or if I'm hanging out with friends outside of work, we're not coding. I'm seeing them in person. So no, I meant like your comment about like talking with people. So so what was I doing here? That's right. I was dealing with output parameters, and I guess well, I don't know. I don't really know a better way to do that. Keeping that way. Um, because you're saying like make a duckler of it, which is what Rust wants you to do. SVG to a font. Oh, really? Converting SVG. So what are you trying to like rasterize the SVG to like a bitmap that you could use? Oh, that's right. I Oh, SVG to OTF. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, actually, right, because OTF, right, the whole point of like true type and open type fonts is that encodes basically vector coordinates in it, right? But I don't know if that's at all the same as how SVG encodes it, which I guess SVG is super complicated. I forget where I left off here. So let's just see what the compiler yells at me about. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. But I'm not seeing. Okay. I hear ya. I hear ya. So I'm not sure why this isn't. This is why I kind of wish I could figure out how to. Unclose delimiter. That's where my comma went. Checking MUL. We match. So a sig fault? That's impressive Pythoning. Oh, I guess I'm not actually returning. So the thing is, we have up to 3 characters we want to pull out here, right? And we have to have at least one. So we kind of want to do this up to 2 more times. I guess we'll just do a range here. So maybe we match I and so if this is 0 and none, then in either case this is right. Oh, I guess we need otherwise well, didn't we want to do that? I guess actually I have no idea what this is coming in as. Otherwise, I guess we're just this seems pretty janky, but and I doubt it will compile. Oh, I gotta close my match. Right, these are closed. No, those aren't closed. Guess I could capture that by reference. Okay. So part one still failed. So got two. Oh, but I guess I'm not actually multiplying this now. I called that part one. So we're getting too small of a number. What should I have here? Should I have 2 by 4, 5 by 5, 11 times 8, and 8 times 5, which for some reason we don't seem to be getting back. Or did I misread that? But we failed. Somehow we jumped over. Somehow we jumped over that M. So mol, uh, 2 by 4. So our next, so we're, so we got that and we advanced the iterator. So we can just print that out. So we got advanced iterator to actually, I suppose it matters what part I'm in. This isn't part 2. But we're failing on part one, right? Yeah, so this is part one. Oh, no, not that. I suppose it would help if I looked at the right test output. Should have 2 by 4. We should have 5 by 5. But the same thing is actually happening. So um, let's for now just comment that out. Okay, so that looks right. M should be next. Oh, we're okay. Well, of course, now we're in an infinite loop. So that should probably get, well, okay. So that should get that passing. Um, that's all the regex stuff. So now we want to do the same thing here. Well, not the same thing, but so actually, I think we still have a bug here because if we don't, what we probably want to do is do next, and if we match, then we want to continue. So here we just want to do then we want to do which I know I don't strictly need this to be in an else branch. Okay, so oh, that's right. Of course, that was just a warning. $21. Oh, really? Wait. Why is that now yelling at me about? This was fine here, right? But this it doesn't like. Okay. I think I have part two commented out. Part two still failed. Would we got way too big of a number. So actually, I guess it doesn't matter if not that that should really matter. No, we don't want to continue because we want to advance the iterator, right? But this isn't working anyway. Let's just take all those out. I'm not sure. Am I just? Isn't it don't? We never get don't. Why don't we ever get don't? Oh, you know what? Because we've advanced the iterator. So this actually needs to be nested. We still don't get down. Oh no, wait. We should never. That's right. Actually, it's not that like if we don't hit that, we'll consume that. We'll have consumed the DO already. Well, here goes nothing. Oh, well, except we completely broke part one now, it looks like. So I suppose I should have tested that. Well, so that this is not working either. And I probably don't have time to fix it at this point. Which is a little bit frustrating. But there you go. Such is advent of code. Um, yeah, I said I was going to go to two, but I've only got like 7 more minutes before that happens. Then I don't. Well, I suppose I could spend another 7 minutes figuring out why this isn't working. So we pass our test, but we're not passing the full input. Although it appears we're only getting 3 valid numbers out of part one. I guess we probably do want to continue here. Because I feel like we're probably right. So if we fail this, even though we failed this check, we will have at least consumed the M, so that will have advanced our iterator. So we don't want to advance anymore. No, I don't think that changed my answer at all. 9792. Yep, that's in. So let's see. Um, so at this point, we have an advanced iterator. So we're going to come in here and check M. So this should at least match. So we advance, right? So we advance the iterator, we get the next character. So let's say we get a U, that'll move us to the L. We get an L, that'll move us to the opening parentheses. We get the opening parentheses, that will move us to the first digit. And at that point, we should be done here. So now we want up to 3 digits. I guess because we're so we peek if we get nothing, return false. If we don't get a number, we return false. Otherwise, if we got some value where that value is a digit, right, we basically add that digit and we continue. So I guess if we hit 2, I guess what we actually want to do here is we want to do this down here. We want to break out of our loop at this point. So we want to do that and return true. Okay, so it looks like we didn't panic. That's not going to be our part 2 answer because I commented all that code out. And let's, well, I got so much garbage in here. So is that actually a smaller number? Well, advent of code will soon tell us. Hey! All right. So we'll just stick this. It's a good thing I took that. Look at that. It only took me 5 minutes. Okay. So what is the and look at the oh, there's a tree. Looks like I'm building a tree. All right. So yeah, I guess we'll oops. Delete all this stuff. I guess I don't actually need the regex module at this point. And I know this isn't very Rust-esque code. So I don't know. I wonder if there's a more rusty way to do it. Well, I'm sure there is. But I don't know. It's how I know how to do it, I guess. Oh yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, and yeah, I assume you don't mind me showing it on stream. If you want to drop the link, I'll pull it up and look at it. I'm actually curious how other people have done it. Oh, and actually, you know, I suppose while you're doing that, I guess I should commit this. Oh, you know, I suppose I don't need regex. Excuse me. Hopefully I was muted for that. So what was I doing here? We want to restore these. Okay. That's totally fine. No judgment for me. Oh wow, that's pretty tiny. Is that this is for both parts? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, my part one. This was a lot. I can't remember. I just deleted it. Did I close? I closed the buffer too. So let's see. So that gives you the regex, and then fine iter. So that returns all the captures, I guess, or all the matches. So then you're initializing with 0, and then that's passing that value back in. And here's the expression. So you're splitting at the comma here. So 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4. So basically that's grabbing the string from the well, right? It starts at the number for the rest of the string, right? And then you're trying to parse that. And if it's okay, then B, I guess I don't know what. Oh, so from the beginning of B to the length of B minus 1. Do you actually need to do that? Because wouldn't B already be like a string slice? But anyway, so you're grabbing all of you're grabbing all of B and then trying to parse that. Well, right, but I'm saying here you're right. You're taking a slice that's basically the entire string, right? But isn't this already a string? I would think you could just do b dot parse. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know for sure, but okay. I mean, it's a small change, but I guess if you don't have to do it, why do it? This I think it makes sense, right? Because right, you're going to end up with right, you're going to end up with mul, right, some number here, and then your second string is going to be that, right? So for the first one, it makes sense because you're advancing past the mul parentheses, but I think the second one, you can just go ahead and do it. So I don't know. I'd be curious if there was an elegant way to also do part 2 for the regex, because I guess what I was trying to do, I just couldn't figure it out. Right? Is right. The regex was something like whatever the regex syntax is. And then matching on do or don't. So we could, in theory, do something like, well, if we got a mul, right, then extract the numbers, do 1 times 2 and add that to the total. If we had a do, just write do it equals true, and if we have don't, do it equals false. So that's what I was trying at first, but I just couldn't figure out how to do that with the regex library. Oh, well that trailing parentheses actually calls it to. Oh, okay, I see what you're doing now. That's right. That's right. Because that first string ends in digits because you've taken the comma out. I was thinking it would just stop when it hit a non-integer character, but what you're doing makes sense now. You're stripping out that last parentheses. Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. These problems are hard enough without learning Rust, so maybe trying to learn Rust with that in a code is a great thing to do because I just I just end up falling back to what I know. Well, anyway, I do have to call it there. I went after spending only 5 minutes figuring it out. I've now gone over my end time by 8 minutes, so I'm going to call it there. Um, so I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Selbsch. Oh boy, Slab. All right. Well, Slab, thanks for hanging in there and for the Rust advice and sharing your solution with me. And somebody else came in with you. They probably took off a while ago, but if anybody else is lurking, thanks for joining me. And if you, for some reason, watch this on the VOD after the facts, then I also thank you for joining me. And until